A home once meant laughter, conversations, and warmth. Parents telling stories, children running around, grandparents sharing wisdom, siblings arguing and making up all under one roof. But today, in many homes, silence dominates, not the peaceful silence of comfort, but the heavy silence of glowing screens. Fathers scroll through news feeds, mothers binge on dramas, children play games or watch endless videos, and grandparents sit quietly, invisible. This is the world phones have created. A young boy once asked his mother, "Why do you smile at your phone more than you smile at me?" She laughed it off, but those words cut deeper than she realized. Children notice. They may not always complain, but they feel it in their hearts. Every time a parent chooses a screen over them, it plants a small seed of loneliness. Over time, that seed grows, and by the time the child becomes a teenager, they've already learned that when they need comfort, love, or attention, the last place they should look is their parents. Instead, they turn to their own screens, creating a cycle of disconnection. Family dinners tell the story perfectly. Once sacred, now, they're just another casual moment filled with scrolling. Imagine a family of 4 sitting around a table. The food is hot and ready, but the father is busy replying to emails. The mother is watching a video. The teenage son is chatting with friends online, and the youngest daughter is watching cartoons on the tablet. Everyone is sitting together, but no one is truly there. No laughter, no eye contact, no sharing of stories. Just 4 people lost in their own virtual worlds. Food becomes fuel, not a moment of bonding. And slowly, without anyone realizing, the family becomes strangers living under the same roof. This disconnection doesn't just hurt relationships, it rewires the way children see love. When a parent ignores their child for a phone, the child interprets it as rejection, even if the parent didn't mean it that way. A hug delayed because of a notification. A story cut short because of a message. A moment of pride overlooked because of a video. These small things seem harmless in the moment, but they leave scars. A child learns that attention must be earned. Love must compete with screens, and they often grow up craving validation from other places, often the internet itself. Couples face the same storm. There was a time when evenings were spent talking, sharing the day, holding hands, and simply being together. Now, many evenings look like this. One partner scrolling endlessly while the other stares at their own phone, both sitting side by side, but oceans apart. Sometimes, one tries to talk, but the other, distracted, replies with short, half-hearted responses. Slowly, conversations shrink, affection fades. Love doesn't always die because of big fights. Sometimes, it dies quietly, replaced by pixels. Many couples today confess they feel more emotionally connected to people online than to the person they share a home with. Sleep is another victim. Phones have invaded bedrooms, once places of rest, intimacy, and peace. Instead of winding down, people lie in bed with screens glowing inches from their faces. Just 5 more minutes, they say. But those 5 minutes stretch into hours. Before they know it, the clock strikes 2 a.m. and sleep is stolen. Without sleep, the body rebels. Hormones become imbalanced, the mind becomes foggy, and emotions swing wildly. Anxiety, depression, and irritability creep in. Parents lose patience with children, couples argue more, students lose focus, and workers drag through their days. Sleep is the foundation of health and happiness, yet phones are robbing it night after night. Even food, the most basic part of life, has been hijacked. Many people today cannot eat without watching something. Children refuse meals unless a phone is in front of them. Adults snack mindlessly while scrolling, not even realizing how much they consume. This destroys not just the joy of food but also the body itself. Digestion weakens because the brain isn't focused on eating. Obesity rises because of mindless snacking. Families lose the joy of sitting together for a meal. And food, which should be a moment of nourishment and connection, becomes just another background task. The body pays a heavy price for this lifestyle. Hours of bending over phones create a posture crisis. Doctors now warn that teenagers are developing Spinal issues once seen only in the elderly. Tech neck. They call it the constant forward tilt of the head that strains the neck, shoulders, and back. People in their 20s complain of chronic pain. Young professionals find it hard to sit upright. Gym trainers see more clients struggling with posture than ever before. Our bodies weren't designed for this constant bending. With every degree of tilt, the pressure on the spine increases dramatically. And yet, millions continue this habit daily, unaware of the long-term cost. Eyes too are being destroyed. Screens emit blue light that disrupts natural sleep cycles and strains vision. Children complain of blurred eyesight, burning eyes, or headaches. Opticians confirm that children as young as 7 or 8 now need glasses. This was rare a few decades ago, but now it's almost normal. Parents often hand screens to children for peace, unaware that they're compromising their eyesight forever. But the worst damage of all is not physical, it's emotional and social. Families no longer talk the way they used to. Parents miss out on the little details of their children's lives. Children stop turning to their parents for comfort. Couples drift apart, friendships weaken, and grandparents fade into silence. Homes become quiet, not because people are at peace, but because everyone is absorbed in a world that exists behind glass. There's a haunting story of a teenager who excelled in school and came home excited to show his parents his achievement. He entered the living room, certificate in hand, ready to share his joy. But his father was too busy on a call, his mother was glued to her favorite drama, and his little sister was absorbed in a game. He waited for someone to notice, but no one did. His excitement melted into sadness. He quietly folded the certificate and placed it in a drawer, never mentioning it again. That one ignored moment carried a message. What I achieve doesn't matter. Such moments, repeated over and over, crushed the spirit of children. In another case, a young wife shared how she felt invisible in her marriage. Every night, when she tried to talk to her husband, he would listen with one ear while his eyes stayed fixed on his phone. It's like I'm competing with his screen, she said, and I'm losing. Over time, she stopped trying. The marriage turned cold, not because of betrayal, but because of neglect disguised as distraction. And then there's the impact on grandparents. They grew up in a world where family time was sacred. Today, they sit in corners, watching their children and grandchildren glued to phones. They long for a conversation, a moment of attention, but rarely get it. Many feel abandoned in their own homes. Some stop speaking altogether, sinking into loneliness. Technology was meant to connect generations, but instead, it has deepened the gap. Phones have also changed the meaning of family gatherings. Weddings, birthdays, holidays, all are filled with people taking pictures, recording videos, and posting online. Instead of living in the moment, people are busy capturing it for strangers on social media. The laughter is filtered, the smiles staged, and the memories incomplete. Children see their parents smiling for photos, but not for them. This obsession with documenting life has stolen the ability to truly live it. Even health professionals are raising alarms. Psychologists warn of rising anxiety and depression linked to phone use. Sleep specialists warn of insomnia caused by late-night scrolling. Nutritionists see a generation addicted to junk food and distracted eating. Orthopedists treat young patients with chronic neck and back pain. Eye doctors see record numbers of children with vision problems. The evidence is everywhere, yet people shrug it off, saying, "Everyone does it. It's normal." But just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal or healthy. Behind all this is a darker truth. Phones and apps are designed to be addictive. Companies hire experts to study human psychology, to craft notifications, colors, and features that keep people hooked. Every swipe, every like, every ding is carefully engineered to release dopamine in the brain, making the user crave more. It's not an accident, it's a system. And families are paying the price. Phones promised connection, but delivered isolation. They promised convenience, but brought chaos. They promised entertainment, but stole sleep, health, and relationships. And while individuals suffer, companies profit. The longer people stay glued to screens, the more money these companies make. So they design their products to keep people hooked, no matter the cost to human lives. This is why so many families are breaking apart, not always through loud fights, but through quiet neglect. Parents are losing their children to screens. Couples are losing love to distractions. Individuals are losing themselves to a cycle of endless scrolling. And the tragedy is that many won't realize it until it's too late, until a child grows up distant, until a marriage collapses, until health deteriorates, until years are lost to pixels. Yet even in this darkness, there is hope. Families can reclaim what they've lost. They can choose to put the phone down at dinner, to talk instead of scroll, to sleep instead of binge watch, to look into each other's eyes instead of into screens. The power is still in our hands, literally. But the question is, will we use that power to save our relationships, or will we continue to surrender it to machines?